Good evening, everybody. How are we doing tonight?
Fantastic.
Well,
Awesome. And everybody else is just sitting there. Great.
We're doing good.
Doing good. Okay, I'll take it. So I tried to talk about this last week, but then I had a squirrel who happens to be approximately 3 years old go out and unplug my modem for me. That's what I discovered. So I was unable to complete talking about this last week. I also have had other squirrels going and chomping on my line, so I've not been able to have reliable internet for a while, but hopefully tonight will be better for us. So what we're talking about tonight is creating a Linux router, so a network function virtualization router. We are going to be going through and creating this using just the command line here. We already have a little bit of this picture set up. So over on the right-hand side, we've got a Mario, a Yoshi, a Peach, and a Bowser. Each one of these are individual network namespaces that are all living inside of our machine that's called Alpha. So inside our Alpha machine, we have these 4 network namespaces, and each one of them has an IP address. They also are all connected into this OVS. Who can tell me what OVS stands for?
Open Virtual Switch.
Open vSwitch. So
open
yes.
virtual switch.
Yes. So that's what we've got so far. So this VLAN 70 is also connected here. So we've got all of that going on for us. So our goal is to ultimately let our Mario namespace way up at the top here talk to the Bowser namespace way at the bottom. Currently, Mario and Bowser cannot talk to each other because remember, currently none of this stuff over here exists. The only connections that we have right now are through this open vSwitch on the VLANs. So these VLANs inside of these networks, these CIDRs here, they're able to talk to each other. So the 1064.1s are able to talk to each other, which is Mario and Yoshi, and the 1064.2s are able to talk to each other, so Peach can talk to Bowser. So all the stuff over on the left is what we are trying to accomplish, what we're trying to make tonight. So let's go ahead and clear my screen there and take a look at what we need to make. First of all, we need to make a router namespace. So this is just going to be another network namespace. Nothing special about it yet. But then we are going to have 2 interfaces for it. And we'll be able to connect those interfaces to this open vSwitch. And ideally, what we'll see is something that looks kind of like this, going down from Mario to Bowser, from Bowser to Mario. So that's the goal. Let's go ahead and take a whack at it. So, got to zoom in here for anybody to have a chance to see what is going on here. Actually, I just got, boy, that's a little bit ugly with this epic pen that is getting in my way. Let me see if I can, I'll just move this over a little bit. Here we go. So actually, I've got my open vSwitch installed. I actually have to cheat a little bit here and get my router set up. Let me do this ls. I've got a little setup script to get everything on the right taken care of. And boy, that was fast. Let's take a look at what we've got going on using this open vSwitch command. This is going to show us really just what's going on. Sudo ovs vs control show. And here we see that we've got a bridge which we've called Donut Plains. And we've got Mario as the name of the port. And we've got a Peach, and we've got a Bowser, and we've got a Yoshi. All of these are referencing and connected to their namesake. So the port Mario is going to the Mario namespace, and so on. So that's what we've got so far. In order for us to ping in between Mario and Bowser, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do a sudo IP network namespace, netns, exec into Mario. And when we do that, you'll see, oh, wait, I need to exec with a specific command, bash, and now I can run a ping command. Now, I know that Bowser's IP address is 10.64.1.3. Ping, oh, -C1. Haha. I'm sorry, that is Yoshi's IP address. That's Yoshi's. Bowser's is .2.3. And notice what we see first of all is that the network is unreachable. So why is the network unreachable? Well, just because it is right now. We don't have it configured. It doesn't know how to talk to it yet. So what we need to do is get out of Mario, clear my screen here, start at the top once again, and
hey,
now
Sam, yeah. Can you do a run the drop the database config again? Do the OVS.
Yeah.
Show. So I think part of what makes it clear maybe for people is the ports there: port Mario, port Peach, port Bowser, port Yoshi, port Donut Plains are they're connected to their namesakes below that by where it says type internal. Below that it says tag, below it says interface Mario, then type internal. That type internal is short for bridge internal, which is effectively, you can think of like a VETH. I wasn't here for last week. Maybe you guys talked about VETHs. But that's like your wire that's able to connect between the switch we're building. The word bridge, use that interchangeably with switch. The switch we're building is called Donut Plains. So the reason that we don't have connectivity is because well, I think what's going on right now is your broadcasting. When Mario wants to talk to Bowser, Mario is or whatever the ping was. I think it was Mario to Bowser is what we just saw. Mario is sending a broadcast at layer 2, or you know what? No, it's not even that. I mean, I think what's going on right now is he's going, he's looking at his IP address. This is layer 3. When you do that ping, he's looking at his IP address and going, his IP address isn't even, it's not even part of my subnet. So I'm going to look, do I have a gateway available? I'll ARP for a gateway, which I don't even think is set. And that's what's failing here. So I think that's what you're about to build for us, is the gateway, i.e. the router, correct?
So you're close. You are definitely on it. You're really close here. So one thing that you're absolutely right about is Mario doesn't know how to get to that other network. So I was going to do this later, but you brought it up, so let's do it now. If we do an IP route show, notice we've got a 1064.1/24, well, .0/24. So it knows how to get out when we try to go through that network. But there's no default route, and there's no route specifically to the 1064.2 .0/24 network. So what we need to do is we need to do an IP route add, and then we need to say default via the 10.64.1.1. And now if we do the IP route show, we should be able to see, hey, we've got a default route. And if we go back to our ping, it's going to give us a slightly different message here because we're trying to ping out. It didn't give us the message that the network was unreachable. However, it did give us the message that the destination host was unreachable. So now we're able to go out and ping out. But we can't get to that host. So another thing to check on next is going to be, well, what about Bowser? And I can tell you that that's going to have the same issue here. So if we exec into Bowser, we can do an IP route show. And notice, again, we don't have a default route. So what we do is we say IP route add default via 10.64.2. Oh, that's not a 2. 2.1. And if we do this IP route show again, we see we've got that default route. And now if we try to ping Mario, which is ping-c1 10.64.1.2, notice that it's not working. Yes, yet again, we've got the destination host unreachable. So this is getting us closer, but we still have to go through, and we still, we know how to get out by default of Mario, and we know how to get out by default of Bowser, but we still haven't built anything over on the left-hand side. We haven't built the router yet. So what we need to do for that is, first of all, we need to create this namespace of the router. So let me get out of Bowser there, clear my screen, start at the top again, and we can say sudo IP netns add. So adding in this network namespace of router. And that is now just created the router here. And now let me copy this command so we don't take too long here. What I'm doing in this command is I'm using the Open vSwitch to add a port to Donut Plains, which is a router 1 port. And I'm setting that interface of router 1 to be type internal, just like Zach was talking about. And then we're going to add another one. And this one is going to be called router 2. How original am I? Anyways, so now if we go in and we see the Open vSwitch show here, we've got this router 2 interface and also a router 1 interface. Now what we need to do, also if we do an IPA, we should see we've got our router 1 and our router 2 interfaces in our default namespace. So what we need to do is we need to set that specific link, this interface, into the router namespace for both of these. So we can say sudo IP link set router 1 network namespace of router. And then we just have to go do that for number 2 as well. And then if we do an IPA again, we'll see, hey, they aren't there anymore. Well, that's because they are in the router network namespace. So actually, we can say sudo IP netns exec, and then we into the router, and then the command we run can be an IPA instead of going in and doing a bash in there. So we now have these interfaces inside of the router, but they're in the down state. So what we need to do is set them up. So to speed us up again, let me cheat and add in this command, we are setting it up. We are execing into the router namespace and doing an IP link, set the device router 1 up, and then do exactly the same thing for router 2. So those two interfaces should be up. We'll do the IPA again and see, hey, well, it doesn't say down, it says unknown. Well, we aren't quite done with them yet. Let's add an IP address to each one of them. So to router 1, we will add 1064.1.1. To router 2, we're going to do a 1064.2.1. And if we do an IPA again, notice we now have these inets 1064.1.1, 1064.2.1 that are available to us. We also are going to go through and tag these specific ports that we made and connected into Open vSwitch with the appropriate VLAN tag. So for router 1, we're giving it the tag of 70. For router 2, we're giving it the tag of 90. And now what we want to see is if we are able to just go through and ping Mario to Bowser. The answer is still going to be no, but it's kind of fun to check to see if we got it yet. So sudo IP netns exec Mario, and then, always like to try to exec without doing anything. Ping 1064.1.2 here, and notice, now wait a minute, 1.2, which one is 1.2? 1.2 was Mario itself, so that's silly. What we wanted to do was ping Bowser, and that's, you know what, Bowser is 2.3 here. 2.3, and once again, we still don't have that connected yet. The issue we are facing right now is we do not have IP forwarding set. So to set IP forwarding, there are some different ways to go about it. An easy way to go about it is to edit a specific file. It's going to be our etc syscontrol-d 10 IP forwarding.conf file. Everybody can remember that one. And then what we need to do is we just need to set IPv4 IP forwarding to 1. That means on. It's true. We are turning that on. We also are doing IPv6 just to cover our bases. We don't need that, but it is good to go through and do. Then we can just make sure that syscontrol is cognizant of that change that we made by running this command sudo syscontrol-p, provided the file name, hit enter, and you see, hey, all of those are going to now be true. So let's go ahead and try to get back into Mario and see if we can ping the Bowser. So once again, pinging one time 10.64.2.3. And that is not looking like we're quite there. Any thoughts on what we missed so far, guys?
Is this a question of, hey, I need some help figuring out why it doesn't work? Or is this, hey, do you have another trick up your sleeve and you're asking the audience here?
I'll leave you guys to decide.
Well, let's see here.
So we're in the Mario namespace right now.
You turned interfaces up everywhere, and you turned on the IP forwarding.
So I wanted to point out that we now, right now inside of Mario, we're able to go through And, oh, you know what? I know exactly what I did. I know exactly why it's not working. This is actually a really good lesson to learn. And I've learned it enough times that I should have learned it already. If I currently go from Mario, I'm able to go across and ping 1064 1.1. I can also ping this interface right here, 1064 2.1. So, but I can't ping to Bowser or to Peach. And the reason for that is because when I said I turned on IPv4 forwarding, I did. I just didn't do it for the router namespace.
Yeah,
So
I
did
it. It was only one way. Yeah.
I did it for the default namespace. So inside the router namespace, all that syscontrol stuff didn't happen. I need to exec into there. So let's clear my screen, get back to that. And coming in here, let's go into the router namespace, sudo IP netns exec router bash. And then let's copy and paste this syscontrol command. And now, get out of there. Hope we can go from Mario into 2.3. This is Bowser, crossing our fingers. There we go.
We could have just rebooted, and that would have been that. We could have washed our hands and.
Well, rebooting would apply to the root namespace.
Oh,
Or would it
okay.
apply to all namespaces? I forget. Definitely the root namespace.
I thought it was all, but yeah, you're probably okay.
Oh, Stu says everywhere.
Fair
Stu
enough.
says everywhere. So yes, that would be that would solve it. Anyways, what we just did is we did get a ping from our Mario to our Bowser. We got 0% packet loss this time. It took 0 milliseconds. That's what that says. Up here it says 1.19 milliseconds. That's still not very many milliseconds to do that ping. Guys, any questions on that?
So good job, Sam. Oh,
yeah, if you had a Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, you would just basically go through the same process there for that third group.
So yes, currently, if you wanted to try to take over and try it, Sean, what you would have to do is, I want to point out something. What's the IP address of Peach? 1064 2.2. Right now, from Mario, we can ping Bowser just fine. But when we try to ping Peach, we can't. And that's because we don't have the default route set for Peach.
Yeah.
Now, that's just because we had a simple start to the network namespace that we developed for Peach, and we didn't include a default route. We just had a direct route included, a static route. That's the word I was looking for. So there was no default route added. All you really would have to do at this point is go through and add in those default routes, and you should be good to go.
Cool. Thanks.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to me and helping me rubber ducky my way out of that one real quick. So I do appreciate that, guys. Hope you all have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Sam.
thanks, guys.
Thanks.
That was
Great.
great.